Holy shit. He said what?
She knows that in 2027, she wants all eyes on her. She wants the royal family to be at the Invictus Games, and I think that for her, that is crucial, because if we think about it, the Sussex's only real tangible value is their proximity to the royal family. So if she can kind of be the star of the Invictus Games in 2 years' time, that gives her another 5 years of press, of deals and money making. So it's all part of a grand plan, I think.
The Invictus Games were never supposed to be a runway. This wasn't about couture gowns or perfectly staged photo ops. They were born from pain, grit, and an unshakable spirit. A battleground for warriors who had already faced hell and lived to inspire. This was sacred ground. The spotlight was meant for them, the ones who'd fought, bled, and clawed their way back.
Hello, Canada, and bienvenue. Today, and for the next week, warriors unite.
But oh, somewhere along the way, something shifted. The flashbulbs? They stopped lighting up for the double amputee who pushed past the finish line with sheer willpower. Instead, they started popping for Meghan Markle, stepping out in designer heels that probably cost more than a veteran's entire yearly medical allowance. What used to be a haven of resilience slowly transformed into a PR runway, an Instagrammable catwalk where her carefully curated outfits got more ink than the gold medals these heroes fought for. And the veterans? They're not quietly grumbling anymore. They're livid, furious that solemn ceremonies have been reduced to decorative backdrops, angry at whispers about private jets, 5-star luxury suites, and hotel rooms redecorated just to nail the perfect shot. While some competitors are scraping together airfare just to get there, the people who should be lifting them up have turned the games into a Sussex brand extension. The murmurs are over, the polite nods gone. Now the veterans are going public, megaphones out, voices raised, demanding Harry and Meghan be booted before 2027. And if you think this is just a petty spat, buckle up. It's about to get ugly.
Looking at the videos and everything, you couldn't help but notice that the crowd sizes are really, really small. If you look at it like the initial video of Harry doing the closing ceremony in 2014, there was a huge crowd. People were so excited. He got to read off a note from his grandmother. It was just a very, very exciting moment, an exciting event. People were thrilled to be there and so excited. I think the same feeling was felt in 2016 in Orlando, of course, and then you have 2017 in Toronto.
When Invictus launched in 2014, it wasn't some glossy spectacle. It was raw, stripped-down proof of human endurance. Wounded warriors showing the world that bravery doesn't end on the battlefield. The public adored it. Headlines praised the vision. For a while, it felt untouchable, but here's the part they don't plaster on the highlight reels. Harry didn't conjure this from thin air. The Royal Foundation? Yes, the same powerhouse that backs William and Catherine's sprawling charity work, poured in the cash, the resources, and the political muscle to get Invictus off the ground. This was never a solo mission. It was a team victory. And for the first time, veterans felt they had a platform worthy of their sacrifices. Then 2018 happened. Meghan Markle entered the picture, and whatever fairy tale people expected quickly dissolved into palace tension, whispered turf wars, and, let's not forget, $1 million parting gift from the foundation when Harry walked away. Invictus survived, but something inside it cracked. The focus on the athletes, it started to blur. At first, it was subtle. A few extra photographers, a little more fanfare for VIP arrivals. But slowly, those cracks widened.
The Invictus Games are dead, and Harry and Meghan killed them. She is completely stealing the show. Her fashion displays, her PDA with Harry, it's insanely bad. And I have no doubt at this point, it's done. It's gonna die a slow and painful.
The Invictus Games, once a raw, unapologetic tribute to wounded soldiers, began to feel suspiciously like a traveling red carpet. Meghan's perfectly timed arrivals, synced with the exact moment cameras clicked, began to dominate headlines. Instead of front-page shots of a double amputee shattering a personal record, the news was flooded with analysis of Meghan's coat choice, her handbag, her effortless hair. Medal ceremonies doubled as fashion shoots. Stylists and PR handlers hovered in frame, turning solemn moments into polished campaigns. Veterans, some of whom had scraped every penny to attend, started to feel like extras in the Sussex lifestyle brand. The grit was gone, buried under layers of designer fabric. And the resentment? It grew. But then came the whispers about money, the rumors that would turn quiet frustration into a wildfire. Behind the scenes, people claimed Meghan and Harry weren't exactly roughing it, private jets instead of commercial flights. hotels that felt more like movie sets than lodgings.
Reports that Meghan Markle put the kibosh on David getting any photos with Prince Harry at Invictus because she felt like David and Victoria would outshine her in some way, so she wanted to make sure that they weren't photographed together. And
one insider even claimed entire hotel suites were redecorated to fit Meghan's personal aesthetic. New wall colors, custom decor, the works, all for picture-perfect shots. Then came the accusations of high-end wardrobe expenses being funneled through event budgets. Every look was styled to the last detail, maximizing media coverage while athletes scraped by. For veterans who lived by discipline and thrift, it was a slap in the face. These rumors, true or not, hit like a gut punch because they reinforced what everyone feared, that the games were drifting away from sacrifice and service, becoming a fashion headline instead of a sporting triumph. And just when it seemed it couldn't get worse, it did. It was supposed to be harmless, a lighthearted in-between competitions appearance, a casual moment to mingle with the athletes. But Meghan, she managed to turn it into the defining controversy of the games. She showed up to a military-linked Invictus event wearing short denim cutoffs and flip-flops. Not just casual, beach day casual, and the cameras, they caught every angle, every smirk, every step. Within hours, those images were everywhere. The backlash was brutal. Veterans, military families, and supporters called it tone-deaf, disrespectful, completely disconnected from the dignity the event demanded. Online comment sections lit up like wildfire. Memes, sarcastic side-by-sides showing Meghan's festival-ready outfit next to the crisp uniforms of the men and women she was supposedly honoring. But it wasn't just about the shorts. Oh no, it was about what they symbolized. To critics, this was the clearest proof yet. The games weren't about the athletes anymore. They'd been reduced to props for a celebrity brand.
Markle has spent $35,000 on a new Invictus Games wardrobe, including 7 jackets. Yes, oh yes, though Meghan is going there apparently only to support Prince Harry as he promotes the Invictus Games, it's clearly also the Meghan Markle fashion show.
Meghan Markle's Invictus Games wardrobe left a lot to be desired in so many ways. It seemed like every outfit seemed to go from bad to worse.
The next day's headlines weren't celebrating record-breaking performances or comeback victories. They were gushing over Meghan's daring, casual look. For the veterans who had trained, traveled, and sacrificed to be there, it felt like the final insult. And then came the moment that flipped the switch entirely. One highly decorated veteran, respected, admired, known for never sugarcoating anything, broke their silence. And when they spoke, every word hit like a grenade. They accused Meghan of treating the games like a scavenger hunt for photo ops, circling the athletes as if their scars, prosthetics, and wheelchairs were just props to set the scene. No royal-approved wording, no PR gloss, just pure, unfiltered frustration. They described sacred ceremonies being hijacked by camera flashes, not to capture the emotion of the moment, but to track a luxury handbag or a designer dress reveal. This is about them, they said, their voice razor-sharp, not a runway for someone who's never worn a uniform. Within hours, their words had exploded across military forums, veteran Facebook groups, and even mainstream headlines. Others joined in, echoing a new rallying cry. Dignity, not drama. Service, not spectacle. It struck a nerve because it came from someone who had lived the struggle Invictus was built to honor. The quiet frustration was now a full-scale rebellion. Whispers of a boycott for the 2027 Games weren't whispers anymore. They were growing louder by the day.
Meghan's role in this, where she's sitting, and a reporter who spoke to the Daily Mail said that she is giving it her blessing. She does want to move forward with this reconciliation because she has big plans, and these big plans all sort of surround the 2027 Invictus Games, which will be in Birmingham. So a big return. This is Harry's signature charity, his signature event. It's coming back to the UK in 2 years' time.
In small circles, athletes began openly talking about not registering. Sponsors were quietly asking questions. Supporters debated whether attending would only feed the spectacle they now despised. This wasn't just about empty seats. It was about stripping Invictus of its soul, the veterans. Without them, it would be nothing but banners and speeches, a hollow brand with no heartbeat. Some believed this was the only way to force the board's hand, to cut ties with the Sussexes before the Games became a pure celebrity showcase. Others feared it might kill the Games entirely. But the mood had shifted. The days of polite, careful emails were over. And here's where it got personal. Because for many, the anger wasn't just aimed at Meghan, it was aimed squarely at Harry. They'd once seen him as one of them, a brother in arms, a man who understood their world because he'd lived it. In the early years, he'd sit quietly with competitors, swapping stories without cameras around. But now that Harry was gone, the new Harry posed under stage lights, spoke in polished sound bites, and, in the eyes of his critics, stopped protecting the games from the tabloid circus. Instead, he seemed to embrace it. The whispers grew sharper. His decisions weren't guided by the Invictus mission anymore, but by the Sussex brand strategy. The disappointment was deep because they had believed in him, and now that trust was shattered.
King Charles is reportedly growing wary of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, with royal insiders suggesting that there may be an ulterior motive behind Harry's kind of moves to potentially patch up the relationship with his father.
Every meeting and every sort of repatriation with Harry carries a huge risk because every conversation could end up in a podcast or a book, and there's no confidentiality clearly around what's being shared with them and Harry and Meghan. So
by now, the question wasn't if the Sussexes should stay. It was whether Harry even remembered why the Invictus Games existed in the first place. And here's the truth no one says out loud. Harry might be the public face of Invictus, but the games aren't his private property. They're run by a board, they're funded by sponsors, and they answer to the athletes and supporters who give them life. If enough veterans, donors, and the public put their foot down, the board could sideline Harry and Meghan in a heartbeat. No screaming headlines about banning them, just a quiet, carefully worded statement about focusing on new leadership and future directions. It's happened before. In the charity world, high-profile patrons get encouraged to step away all the time when their baggage threatens the cause. And make no mistake, insiders are already murmuring that the games would thrive without the Sussex drama, without the headlines obsessing over outfits and optics, without the endless comparisons between couture budgets and veteran airfare costs. The risk of keeping them? More headlines about celebrity fluff than about resilience and recovery. The risk of letting them go? A messy PR storm that might last a few weeks. But after that, silence. For the veterans, the stance couldn't be clearer: dignity first, no matter who has to go. And if that means Harry and Meghan exit stage left, so be it. The Invictus Games were never meant to be a side project for brand Sussex, and the veterans, they're not bluffing. They will not stand by and watch the soul of the games be traded for a front-page fashion spread. Because here's the kicker: this story isn't just about veterans grumbling in private. It's about power moves behind closed doors. Word is, while Harry's been dodging calls to step aside, the Invictus chairman has already made a move that's got him rattled to his core. And not just rattled, threatened. David Beckham, yes, that Beckham, global icon, military supporter, public darling, and now being quietly floated as Harry's potential replacement. This isn't tabloid gossip. It's a headline already shaking the Sussex camp. Beckham's charm, spotless public image, and ability to command both mainstream media and sports audiences make him the board's dream candidate. Behind the scenes, it's being whispered that Beckham could bring the games back to their roots, all the while avoiding the circus that's been following Harry and Meghan like a shadow. No red carpet distractions, no PR over substance, just veterans, sport, and the stories that made Invictus matter in the first place. For Harry, it's more than a professional threat. It's personal. Invictus was his thing, his proudest creation. And the idea of another high-profile celebrity stepping in, especially one as universally adored as Beckham, hits right where it hurts. The veterans don't care about bruised egos, though. They care about getting their games back. And right now, the Sussexes are standing in the way. The choice is simple: keep the brand, lose the mission, or cut the brand and save the mission. And if the Invictus board has any intention of keeping the games alive for 2027 and beyond, they know exactly which choice they'll have to make, because the veterans have spoken loudly, and this time they're not backing down.